Ang dami hong nagulat sa pinaka-latest na public appearance itong si Martin Romualdez na kung saan nakikita nyo naman ho mga kababayan, talagang mukha na ho siyang bangkay. Wala na hong kaibahan ng kanyang pagmumuka sa mukha nitong si Marcos Jr. Ganyan ho talaga ang pagmumuka ng mga tao pagka nai-stress. Ganyan na ganyan ho mga kababayan. Sa tingin natin, di na rin ho nakakatulog yung mama na yan. Kung mayat-mayat na iisip niya, ang sambayan ng Pilipino, galit na sa kanilang dalawang magpinsan. At dito ho sa video na to, papasadaan ho natin itong mga punto de vista nitong si Congressman Mike Defensor, dating Congressman Mike Defensor, kung bakit yung mga high impact project, yung mga infrastruktura na dapat sana papatapos na ngayong mga panahon na to, ang dahilan kung bakit na-delay at kung saan napunta ang pera. Pero bago yan, isang like at isang subscribe, masayang na ho tayo dyan. Sa mga gusto sumali sa ating community, yung join button, nandyan lang ho sa baba. Umpisahan ho natin ang ating talakayan dito kay Congressman Mike Defensor. Kung Mike, lately parang walang masyadong ganap itong si Kong Mike. Ito ho, panoorin natin.
Sunod-sunod yung inauguration ng ating Pangulo doon sa ating mga Metro Manila subway stations.
Naku.
At marami nagtatanong, ano ba talaga ang mangyayari? Kasi di ba madalas po namin sinasabi at kasama to doon sa aming impeachment complaint na ang pondo na dapat ginamit sa malaki ang mga proyekto ay nawala, dinivert, tinanggal, nilipat sa program at ito ay ginamit sa mga flood control o yung mga high kickback projects. Ano po ba talaga?
From high impact infrastructure project, napunta ho sa high kickback project, ibang klase talaga. Oh. Kawawa ho sa bayan ng Pilipino. Sa totoo lang, sobrang napag-iwanan na ho tayo. Malaysia, meron na ho silang high-speed train, di ba? Yung nagpupunta na doon sa mga probinsya. Sa atin ho mga kababayan, nangnanto ko MRT, LRT lang, mayat maya nasisira pa. Ganun ho nakakapanlumo ang kalagayan ng ating bansa. Kasi ang isang bansa, makikita nyo ho ang kaunlaran yan pagdating sa kanilang transport system, pagdating sa kanilang mga highway. Kasi yan ho ang kumbaga sa katawan ng tao, yan ho yung mga ugat-ugat. Diba? Pagka yung mga ugat-ugat mo sa katawan, maayos yan, maganda ang daloy ng dugo dyan, ibig sabihin, healthy ka, malayo ka sa sakit. Diba? Pero pagka yan, bara-bara yan, anak ng toko, malaki diferensya mo. Diba? Ika nga, konting galaw mo lang, parang aatakihin ka sa puso, 'di ba? Ganun ho 'yun. Parang ano ho 'yan, parang mga ugat-ugat sa katawan. Ngayon ang ating bansa puro bara-bara yung mga ugat ng ating bansa ngayong mga panahon na 'to, 'di ba? Kaya kita nyo naman ho, yung mga nalulugi lang sa ating ekonomiya araw-araw, dyan pa lang sa EDSA, bilyonis na ho kada araw dahil dyan sa napakalalang traffic na yan. At ang makakapag-resolve lang yan, hindi ho bagong highway. Hindi bagong highway hong makakapag-resolve dyan. Ang makakapag-resolve dyan, mass transport system. Kagaya na lamang ho ng train. Yun lang ho talaga. Maliban doon, wala hong makakapag-resolve dyan. Kahit Skyway 1, Skyway 2, Skyway 3, hindi ho mariresolve yan. Darami lang yung mga tao na ika nga talagang gagamit na, bibili na sasakyan. Actually, ang dami na nga bumibili ng sasakyan Ngayon, bumili ka ng sasakyan, matatraffic ka. Magko-commute ka, matatraffic ka. Kahit alin doon sa dalawa na yun, talagang wala kang lusot sa ika nga sumpa ng trapiko sa ating bansa. Dahil din sa pagnanakaw na ginagawa ng mga politiko. Ngayon, ano ang pinakamagandang solusyon dyan? Mass transport system. Kaya dyan ho pumapasok yung mga trend na sana patapos na ngayong mga panahon na to.
Mangyayari sa Metro Manila subway? Maraming nagtatanong, marami ho nagbe-mensahe po sa akin.
We had delays by putting it in the unprogrammed funds. It was JICA, ADB, and Japan who raised this concern. So that pushed back. Siyempre, for 9 months, they cannot collect, no? The work will stop. That simple lodging it delayed the project from 2028 now to 2032.
Yeah.
So
Unprogrammed funds, nilagyan ng mga flood control, those
From 2028, hindi ba ho masaya itong bangag na presidente na to na umpisahan sa panahon ni Digong, ikaw ang magtatapos? Ang dami hong mga proyekto na naumpisahan sa panahon nitong si Noynoy Aquino pero pinilit na tapusin ng administrasyon. Wala ko kasi siyang politika sa utak. Basta kailangan makapag-iwan siya ng kapaki-pakinabang na reforma sa sambayan ng Pilipino. Ang reforma lang ginawa nitong administrasyon na to doon sa kanilang mga bank accounts. Talagang nagsitabaan sila sa kanilang dalaw magpinsan.
Projects. At ang nangyari dyan, double whammy ang Pilipino. Dahil nasayang na yung pera, dahil hindi na pondohan yung counterpart dun sa mga foreign assisted projects, na-delay yung project. Kaya ang nangyari, from 2028, dapat yung subway tapos na. Kung nasa ano tayo. Ngayon, 2032. Yung PNR,
Baka pwede niyong klaruhin lang. Sabi niya, finished ang subway by 2028. Can you clarify, please?
Hindi po. Hindi po. Ang sinasabi lang po niya ay yung mula Valenzuela. So, roughly I think mga 2 to 3 stations pipilitin pong matapos by 2028, by end of 2028, no? Pero yung buong linya po hanggang mula Valenzuela hanggang NAIA 3, ano po yan, ang estimate po natin ay 2032 pa.
Ouch. Sakit. Diba, nakakalungkot hong isipin na yan hong sinapit ngayon ng ating inang bayan dahil sa katakawan sa pera ng mga namumuno sa ating bansa. At ang tatanungin ho natin dyan sa kakurakutan na yan, walang iba kung hindi itong si Martin Romualdez. Martin, ito pagka itong mama na to nagsuoli ng pera, ano natin yan, tatanggapin natin yan? Itong si Martin Romualdez, anak ng toko Martin Romualdez, wala ka bang balak na suoli na ng pera sa DOJ? Ang hirap po kasi pagka sa DOJ, baka pagka behind the scene, pinaghahati-hatian lang nila, no? O bago pa ipresenta, malaking porsyon ng kinuha noong mga naghahari-harian, nagsisiga-sigaan niya sa DOJ. O yung mga dating opisyal sa DOJ, di ba? Pakinggan ho natin ang eulogy nitong si Tambaluslos diyan sa pagdala ng mga labi nitong si Jose de Venecia Jr. diyan sa House of Representatives kaninang umaga. Panoorin ho natin ito. Matagal na ho natin di naririnig nagtatalumpati itong mama na to. Pagkatapos ho nito, papanoorin naman natin yung kay Benny Abante at yung kay pangalan nun, yung may kumalat na larawan na yung Bernadette Barbers, yung kay Ace Barbers. Okay?
Honor a man whose name has become inseparable from the very story of this house.
Wow.
Speaker Joe was
Pero Brad, nangayayat ka ha. Laki ng binagsak ng katawan mo. Baka akala mo di namin napapansin yan. Ano bang pinagagawa mo sa buhay mo, Brad? Di ba? Ibigay mo na kasi. Isuolin nyo na yung mga ninakaw nyo. Yung sinasabi ni Zaldico na di umanong hinatid nila sa inyo. Ibalik nyo yan sa sambayan ng Pilipino dahil hindi sa inyo yan. Okay? Mga walang hiya kayo, kala yung makakalusot kayo. Kung ngayong mga panahon na to, pumayat ka dahil sa sobrang kakaisip mo, ang sunod niyan baka magkasakit ka rin sa bituka, mahirap na. Kaya kung ako sa'yo, dahil lang bagsak nito, bangag yung kapartner mo, sa gusto mo, ilalaglag ka niyan. Walang forever sa mga Marcos na yan. Basta ililigtas lang nila mga tumbong nila. Lahat ng nasa likod nila, ilalaglag nila. Kahit pinsan pa nila yan. Diba mantakin mo kapatid niya si Aimee? Diba linaglag din niya dahil ilinabas niya ang kabulukan ng kapatid niya. Ano naman ho yung kay Aimee Marcos, mahal niya si Bongit. Mahal na mahal niya si Marcos Jr. Diba nung panahon ng kakaumpisa pa lang ng termino nitong si Marcos Jr. Ano sabi niya? Kung inihintay nyo na banatan ko kapatid ko, hindi mangyayari yan. At yun na nga ho nangyari. Hindi niya nga ho binanatan itong si Marcos Jr. Diba? Maliwanag ho yun mga kababayan. Ngayon, kung umaasa ho kayo na para sa mga Talyanista at Ensaymada, makakaalpas pa ang administrasyon na to sa galit na sambayan ng Pilipino, nagkakamali ho kayo dyan.
was not simply a presiding officer in Congress. He was a founder, a builder, a unifier. He was one of the fathers of Lakas when it was still Lakas.
Ito kaya si Jose de Venecia, nag-MOOE din ho kaya to nung nandiyan pa siya dyan sa House of Representatives. Pero konti-konti lang ho kasi dyan nung mga panahon na yun, nung bago pumasok tong 20th Congress, nung pinamunuan itong matakaw sa pera na to na si Martin Romualdez. Diba? Nakatakawan niya sa pera, nangayayat siya. Yan pala ang problema pagka matakaw ka sa pera, nangangayayat ka no? Imbis na tumaba ka, nangangayayat ka, no? Yeah. Ang issue kasi dito, nung talagang pinamunuan itong sintu-sintu na to, House of Representatives, doon talaga naging laganap ang nakawan dyan. Doon naging talamak yung insertion and program appropriation, di ba? Yung anong tawag dito, yung mga for later release, pagiging proponent, dyan ho sa admin, pamumuno niya bilang speaker, nag-umpisa lahat ng kabulukan dyan sa House of Representatives.
Tao, then Lakas NUCD, at a time when our democracy was finding its footing once more. He did not build a party for power, he built a movement for purpose.
Wow.
And in so doing, he helped shape a generation of leaders who believe that governance must be inclusive, reform-driven, and anchored in national unity.
National unity.
As a speaker for 5 terms,
Yang accent na yan ang isa sa mga dahilan kung bakit hindi ka mananalo ng pagka-presidente. Walang bumibilib sa tono ng pagsasalita mo na yan, Brad. Okay nang hindi magaling mag-English. Okay nang ika nga medyo balahura bunga nga. Basta wag lang magnanakaw kagaya ninyong
he transformed this
kagaya ninyong magpinsan, di ba?
institution, and under his leadership, the House became what it ought to be, a forum where every legislative district, every island, every province, every city had a voice at the table. He believed that the strength of the republic was measured not by the dominance of a few, but by the participation of all. He was the father of the Rainbow Coalition, a phrase that will forever belong to him. But the Rainbow Coalition was not merely a political strategy. It was a philosophy of governance. It was the recognition that in a democracy as diverse as ours,
Pagkatapos niya nag-speech, ang pinaka-ilalim mo nakalagay, thank you ChatGPT.
Christian and Muslim, North and South,
Ang bihira.
majority, minority, progress is achieved not by exclusion,
ChatGPT lang pala.
but by consensus. He brought together representatives across party lines, across ideologies, across regions, and he forged agreements that allowed this House to enact reforms that shaped our economy, strengthened our institutions, and advanced social justice. House Resolution number 247, adopted by this chamber, records for history his distinguished service and significant contributions to the country. But no resolution can fully capture what we, who sat with him, debated with him, learned from him, and were guided by him, know to be true. That his leadership was grounded in respect, equal respect for every member of this House, regardless of affiliation. He was a consensus builder in the noblest sense. He did not silence dissent, he harmonized it. He did not diminish differences, he reconciled them. In an era where division often threatens institutions, he demonstrated that unity is not weakness, it is strength disciplined by wisdom. And yet, Speaker Joe's vision did not stop at our shores. He was a global Filipino, a visionary who understood that the Philippines must not only participate in the international community, but to help shape it. Long before interfaith
Boring na tong kay Martin Romualdez. Di pa ho tayo doon kay anong tawag dito, kay Benny Abante. Eto, kay Benny Abante ho tayo. Ako, ano naman kaya sasabihin ko?
Baka ito ang
nito si
pinakamahabang
Benny Boy?
eulogy
Ako?
na ibibigay ko. At any rate, to many, death is one dreaded reality in life. But no matter what we would want to do and what we would want to be, the truth remains, according to the book of Ecclesiastes, to everything there's a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die, a time to weep and a time to laugh, and a time to mourn. And the question is, according again to the book of Ecclesiastes, what profit hath he that worketh in that wherein he laboreth? Manong Joe, our speaker, Jose Claveria de Venecia, as we pay our last respect to this great man of our country, I could not help but recalling his life as an honest and truly accountable public servant, as a gaseous statesman, a seasoned parliamentarian, a gentle peacemaker, and a visionary architect of unity, to name a few. I find it very relevant, especially in the light of the political and economic climate that our country and our people are in today, to emphasize the enduring legacy that Speaker De Venecia left behind, that I want to pose as a challenge to all, specifically to us, public servants and young leaders. Unlike many today, Speaker De Venecia built instead of destroying bridges of unity and understanding, sacrificing self and gain. Indeed, the life of Speaker De Venecia is a unique example of a life well lived. Born in Dagupan, Speaker De Venecia grew up in Pangasinan, a province that would remain the center of his political identity. He studied journalism at Ateneo de Manila University and later transitioned into business, becoming involved in public affairs before entering the political arena. As a businessman, Speaker De Venecia pioneered overseas contract work for the Filipinos, where he was one of the first Philippine prime contractors in the Middle East and North.
Galing pala nitong si Jose de Venecia. Ngayon, at least alam na ho natin. Pambihira. Kaya pala yung mga tagalakas ha. Oh, walang niya kayo.
North Africa in the mid-1970s. He hired Filipinos for his companies and engaged in port operations in Saudi Arabia, agriculture in Africa, and mass housing and oil exploration in the United Arab Emirates. His Middle East initiative was followed and later led to the employment of millions of Filipinos. In the 1970s, he initiated an oil and gas exploration program that led to the first oil and gas strikes in offshore Palawan. Even at the height of the national leadership, he never lost sight of his roots, often crediting his birthplace or instilling in him discipline, resilience, and a deep respect for community. Speaker De Venecia's first stint in politics was in 1961 when he became a spokesperson for the then presidential candidate, Diosdado Macapagal. During the presidency of the late President Ferdinand Edelin Marcos, he was in the diplomatic service as Minister Economic Counselor from 1966 to 1969. He was also posted to the Philippine Embassy in South Vietnam as Press and Economic Counselor. May I remind everyone that he became one of the 10 outstanding congressmen before martial law in the Philippines was declared. As a member of the House of Representatives, he continued to earn an unprecedented distinction in Philippine history that reflected the nation's enduring trust in his leadership. He became the first, and perhaps the last, to hold the speakership of the House of Representatives 5 times in separate terms. This feat of the Speaker de Venecia demonstrated his personal touch across political lines and affirmed his ability to unite leaders, build consensus, and steer the
Ito pa lang si De Venecia, siya yung kontraktor ng mga kontraktor nung kapanahunan niya. Punta na ho tayo kay Pambira. Wala na nga tong si De Venecia, binobola mo pa, walang yaka talaga, Benny Abante. Punta na ho tayo dito kay H. Barbers.
Honorable Speaker Faustino Boji D. III, former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, to our former primus inter pares in the House of Representatives, to our former colleagues in the House, our honorable senators and cabinet secretaries, at sa lahat po na nagmamahal kay Speaker Joe De Venecia, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. At the onset, let me convey my deepest sympathies and condolences to the De Venecia family, most especially to Tita Gina, to Toff, to Joey, and the Vera Perez clan too, Tito. Sa ating pong lahat na nagbibigay pugay at nagbibigay ng huling tribute sa ating mahal na public servant, magandang umaga po ulit sa inyong lahat. When I was asked to deliver a eulogy, I immediately tried recalling my personal countless memorable encounters with the former speaker. And while I was scribbling down all these experiences I had with him, I said to myself, baka mas mahaba pa yung sasabihin ko sa sinabi ni Congressman Abante. Or mas mahaba pa sa sinabi ni Senator Mig Zubiri. But just the same, I'd like to give this tribute because this man is a man that I deeply respect and adulate. In fact, sabi ko nga sa sarili ko, how would I ever pay tribute and honor to Speaker Jose De Venecia? So, I made my short speech hoping that I can do justice in paying a tribute to the life of this remarkable person. Speaker Jose De Venecia Jr. The man who was called by many names, monikers, either seriously or comically by his fans and detractors alike. He was not someone out to please everyone. He is in fact a multifaceted person, a public servant, peacemaker, and a leader. Being way ahead of his time, he was often misunderstood. He was called Joe de Bola for his seemingly endless narratives and stories. Honestly, he just merely wanted to share his experiences, broad knowledge of history, geography, politics, and almost everything else, and impart lessons to those who have time to listen. He had so much to share, to talk about and teach. He was so selfless that he would counsel anyone who would seek him out. He was also dubbed the Yoda, the Grand Master of the Jedi Order in the Star Wars saga.
Gumamit pa ng Star Wars reference itong si Unggoy, anak ng toko. Para saan? Ay, sabagay, panahon ho pala niya yan.
For his wisdom and impeccable leadership. It was to me a compliment for his articulateness indeed a rarity nowadays. Truth to tell, walang masamang tinapay at malisya sa katawan ng taong ito. He always meant well. Saan ka na? May mga congressman nga na magde-deliver ng speech dito sa plenary. All of a sudden, the speaker comes down from his office, tries to patiently and intently listen to the speeches being delivered. The only difference was the speech that was delivered was a speech insulting the speaker. Nakakagulat because after the speech is delivered, he would come up to the person who delivered the speech and embrace them and say, "My favorite congressman," after hearing all those nasty words from the speaker. Hindi kayang tularan yung ganung karakter, mga kaibigan. It was simply a character that of Speaker Joe De Venecia. He will sincerely talk to them right there and then until they understood him. He never harbored ill feelings towards anybody. He acknowledged and accepted his shortcomings. He made amends, compromises, and built relationships. He valued friendships, nourished and cherished them. I never saw bitterness, anger, and frustration in him. Instead, it was his calm demeanor and forgiving nature, the strength of character, the wisdom and brilliance, the genuine desire to serve. And those are the things that I will always remember him by. He was indeed the consummate politician, and for good reason. He used his gift and skills to bring meaningful and lasting positive changes to the nation and to the people he served. He united a divided Congress with his Rainbow Coalition and Sunshine, eventually Sunshine Coalition, where the Spice Boys was pretty much a part of. My Kuya Migs was very much active during the time. His consensus building style of leadership resulted in pieces of legislation that continue to shape the nation's landscape, economic landscape today. The Build, Operate, and Transfer Law, the Central Bank Act, the Bases Conversion and Development Act, and the creation of economic zones that fuel jobs and investments are just but some of the notable laws he authored. As Speaker of the House, he served as the wingman of then-President Fidel Ramos. Together, they anchored the country on solid economic and political foundation that brought peace, stability, recovery, and prosperity, emerging as we were from a tumultuous era in the country. He was a pillar of good governance, a legacy worth emulating. To many, he was Speaker of the House of Representatives. To our nation, he was a brilliant legislator, a visionary leader, and a tireless peacemaker. But to me, he was more than his titles. He was always my Tito Joe. Wise, warm, generous with his counsel, and always thinking of the greater good of the Filipino people. He was to me, in many ways, one of the best presidents the Philippines never had. For 5 remarkable, unprecedented terms as a speaker, he steered the House with steady hands and a clear vision. In times of political turbulence, he always built consensus where there was conflict. He understood that leadership meant listening kahit sa mampanig ka ng politika, sa oposisyon man o kaalyado ka. Under his stewardship, the House became not a battleground of egos, but a forum for ideas. He professionalized the institution, strengthened its independence, and always made sure that the legislative agenda moved with purpose and direction. His command of policy, parliamentary procedure, and political diplomacy was unmatched. He did not just preside, he led. On the global stage, he was larger than life. Respected not only as a Filipino leader, but as a global statesman who understood that our country had a role to play in the
Ayun na nga mga kababayan, yun yung pambobola nitong si ang pangalan to, Robert H. Barbers, itong si Benny Abante. Okay lang sana nakanto ko kung yung mga mag-eulogy dito kay yumaong Jose de Venecia ay yung mga congressman na hindi ka nga mainit dito sa issue ng corruption sa ating bansa. Sino yung mga nagsalita? Martin Romualdez, Benny Abante na hindi naman nanalo, hindi natin malaman kung ba't siya dumadaldal dyan sa eulogy na yan. Hindi naman siya nanalo, pinagpilitan lamang niya ang kanyang sarili dyan sa House of Representatives. Sino pa? Itong si Barbers. Alam naman ho na sambayan ng Pilipino at balitang-balita ho yan na kung saan ang kanyang distrito napakaraming mapahanggang sa ngayon napakaraming katanungan ng ating mga kababayan dyan sa mga kalokohan na di umano nangyayari sa kanyang distrito. So always, maraming salamat po sa pag-support sa PH Update. Mag-ingat po kayo lahat ng Pilipinas. Huwag ko kayo magpabola dito sa mga kampo ni Martin Romualdez na to.